Please join me for Ask the Good Doctor, live today and every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Central Standard Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bring your questions.
Hello and good afternoon. It's Wellness Wednesday. I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, and welcome to Ask the Good Doctor. We are here to help you attain, maintain, and reclaim your perfect health. Please join me on Twitter at Ask the Good Doc, on Instagram and Facebook at Ask the Good Doctor. I'd love for you to jump into this conversation with us. We have got an amazing show for you today. As we come up on the holy season and eating, we want to talk about eating right, eating well, and entering some new practices that you may find helpful in your kitchen. I wish I were coming to you from my kitchen today, but I'm not. And I have an amazing chef with us today. She is Chef Shaina Hayden, who was a top 10 contender in Hell's Kitchen from season 16. Shaina is joining us. Chef Shaina was joining us today. Hi, Chef Shaina. How are you?
How are you? It's so good to be here today.
So good to be here with you. We thought it is only fitting that we have this conversation about good food and food for your soul, in addition to mind, body, and spirit connection with food, because certainly there is one. For all of you who are food show fans like I am so excited to have Chef Shaina have come into my pathway and into my life. She's a resident Poconoian up here in the Poconos with us, and she is a Black female restaurateur as well, owning the Mad Apples restaurant here. And first, I want to just talk a little bit about Chef Shaina's journey in terms of her relationship with food and becoming a chef. How did you come up on this profession? Because certainly I'm sure it's not by chance.
Well, it's definitely not by chance. I will say some things does come around full circle. As a kid, I loved bread. I mean, I would ask my grandmother all the time, could we stop at KFC so I could get, just biscuits? Plain Jane biscuits. I'm the biscuit eating person. I
Wow.
am buy the loaf of it. You got to skip the first two pieces, but eat the rest of it. And my grandmother kind of got mad one day and was like, I'm not stopping at KFC every day. And so we got home. She said, you gonna learn to make these darn biscuits yourself. And I had to be like, I want to say 9, 10.
Okay.
And we didn't have no rolling pin. My grandmother literally gave me the most simplest recipe: flour, water, a little baking soda, put it out on the countertop. We pushed it together. She took a glass out the cabinet, and that made the shapes of the
Perfectly round.
perfectly round. And I got fat because every day I was making biscuits. Nothing to go with it, just biscuits. Speaking of,
What?
I told my grandmother 2 days ago, here she goes, I made some fresh bread in there. I said, man, I just can't get away from it. But that was what kind of started it. And as you get older, you venture into certain things. If you would have asked me, I would have thought I would have been a WNBA player.
Oh.
That didn't go, that didn't happen. But I encountered life, and that's
Mm.
just the best way to put it. I made a ton, probably 2 tons of bad decisions. And cooking
Pause.
is something.
Mm-mm. No, you don't get to skip over that, Miss Missy. She said, I made 2 tons of bad decisions. Say more, Chef Shayna. What do
All
you mean
right,
by that?
whatever you want.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? 2 tons of bad decisions. What?
I made 2 tons of bad decisions. I did everything in the book that you could think of as a teenager that just landed me in different places. Being in school, going from one school to the other, just the environment we was in, growing up in the hood, getting into bad relationships, going through abusive relationships, getting locked up, just different things. And I watched my peers, I mean, advance. They became rather police officers,
Mm,
and state troopers and
yeah.
doctors and nurses. And here I am sitting here going, I can't get a job anywhere. And social media sometimes could be a beast, because you'll look at people and you'll go, knowing where you messed up, but you'll go, why can't I be there? Like, why?
Mm,
What can I do?
mm.
And I literally, growing up in church, my grandfather's a pastor, my grandmother's the first lady, my mom's pastor, everything. And you know how they say the preacher's kids is the worst kids. And I grew up in the household where
Or the teacher's kids.
yeah, so and but that whole verse, train up a child in the way they should go and they'll never depart. Once again, it came around full circle. So as I needed to mature, finding family and just trying to find my way, um, I had to start now being a mom, being a wife, cooking dinner every night. And I realized one thing that I hated. I'm tired of cooking spaghetti.
Ah,
I'm tired of making barbecue chicken. There has got to be some other type of recipes. One thing that I realized, I could go to the store, pick up recipe books, magazines at the counter and stuff like that. But the stores in the hood don't sell the ingredients to the things you might want to cook.
come on now. Say that
So that
again.
became
Say
another
that
pet
again.
peeve.
Say that
Yeah.
again.
We
We
we can't, you can pick up a magazine all day, but if you want those ingredients, fresh ingredients, or even half the ingredients that's in the magazine, they're not in the local hood stores. And to make a good, well balanced, diet, there's so many options, but there's not a lot of options in our hood supermarkets. It's not
mm,
at all. And it drove me to go to culinary school. And
okay.
that's where the journey started.
In culinary school, that is such a far step. You glossed over, but I want to go back to what you said. You said you got locked up and couldn't find a job.
Yeah. Here's this. I got locked up, and for one season of my life, being frustrated. You hear people say this all the time until you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
The system is a revolving door, whether
Mm,
people realize it or not. You can be guilty and you can be non-guilty. I've been in both situations,
ah,
and neither one is favorable, because your name goes down in the system. And
yeah.
once it's in the system, you can forget about trying to get a good, decent paying job
Mm,
anywhere. And
mm.
so, where you go, all right, I'm not going to do this again. I'm not going to do that. But then when you realize every door is continually shut because of a mistake you made, how do you overcome that? How do you get the tenacity to just be like, you know what? I'm gonna find something else. I'm gonna keep going. It is very hard to keep going when every door is slammed in your face.
Yes.
So I thank God that the restaurant industry,
Mhm.
it is like and I hate to say second chances. because as a human being, we are way beyond second chances.
Come on.
I mean, way beyond second chances.
Come on.
We are like it's a repetitive thing. We need chance after chance after chance. But the cooking industry, the restaurant industry, even though a lot of it has changed, it's a savior for a lot of us, a
Yeah.
lot. And it gave me another chance.
How about that? And you
Yeah,
said
it gave me
doors
another
were
chance.
slammed in your face and you couldn't get a job.
I mean, this is why I say this. As much as the industry helps us, as far as felons and,
Mhm.
just people that's been through the system. If you wanted to go, I remember this, and I'll tell you this story because
Tell
it
me.
left me in a depression that was so deep.
Mm.
Remember, some years had passed, had not gotten in trouble, and I went for this job. Now, this is years ago.
Hmm.
So if the price right now where everybody's getting money now, like the going rate is like 17, $18 an hour.
Okay.
At this time, almost my youngest, my middle one is 13. So let's say 13 years ago.
Okay.
I had gotten a position, interviewed, went in for a head chef position at a nursing home or something like that. I
Ah.
was getting at that time, I want to say like 22 to $25 an hour.
Okay.
Back then, that was a lot,
Yep.
and that was just entry level. And then, of course, at the time, you moved up. I went through everything. And this has happened to me twice, but I just want to talk about the first time it happened.
Yes.
I went in, did the interview, did everything. They paid for me to go through the health screenings, the drug screenings, passed all the drug tests, everything you could imagine. Nothing. I was due in Monday morning at 9 a.m. Was supposed to start my training. At 7:30 that morning, I'm up getting ready, whatever. I'm now in my car because I only lived, I want to say, about 20 minutes from the place. So I didn't have to leave like, super early.
Yes.
I am driving to this facility to start on my first day. I am in the parking lot because you want to be extra early. HR gives me a call. And I'm like, hello. And she's like, hi, Miss Shaina, how are you? And I'm like, good. I'm like, hey, I'm here already. So if you needed me to come in and do something early, she goes, yeah, about that. She goes, I really don't know how to say this. She goes, I can't see what it is. She said, but your background check came back. And she was like, it's sealed. I can't see any of the charges, anything it was. She said, but we cannot give you the job here.
Oh.
I sat in my car. I
Oh.
boo-hooed. Everything you could imagine because after so long, I said, I finally got a break.
Oh.
This happened to me twice,
Oh my gosh.
but that was the first time. Like I couldn't even, it was the first time it happened. The second time it happened, that's when I realized I have to work for myself.
Yes.
And then I said, if you could see anywhere, everybody knows me. Any of my establishments, I am the person that gives everybody the chance. I have
Ah.
had murderers work for me. I've had drug dealers work for me. I've had addicts work for me. I've
Mm.
given them all the chance. And a lot of them are repeats because a lot of them are higher seasonal because we're in the Poconos, and every year everybody comes back to work for me. Because
Yeah.
if you work for me, I make you believe that you could change, that you do have another chance. I don't treat you like what you've been through because I
Yeah.
know people do evolve, they do change. But in the same sense, there is one thing that I have learned out
What?
of all of that experience. All of my failures, all of my no's, all of those getting turned downs, out of everybody I've helped, I've realized you can't help everybody.
Ah, yes. Can you say that again?
So you can't help everybody.
Everybody
So
can
as
go.
where I was so frustrated because I knew I had become this changed person. I was renewed in my mind, just everything. when I give those chances to certain people under, my businesses, there are those people where I'm like, I can't help you because
Mm.
you haven't changed. And if it hasn't changed in your mind yet, you're not ready for it.
Got to renew that mind. That's the name of
It's
my
a
company.
mindset before it's anything.
That's the name of my company, Renewing Your Mind Foundation.
So if you want to change, you want to be anything, you got to really pray and just God, change my mind first. Have
Yes.
control of my mind. If you don't change that, you could move from state to state, but that same
Mm.
mindset is going to follow you
Oh, absolutely.
everywhere. Everywhere.
Absolutely. That is
So
without.
I thank God for all of the no's, even though it hurt, all of the turn downs, and the way it happened with that first job, it happened with a job even bigger than that,
Mm.
even
Wow.
bigger than that.
Wow.
And that's when I had to realize, "Yeah, Shana, you got to do something."
Now, in the interim of you realizing that you had to do something, peeling yourself out of depression, and just speak for a moment to those who may be in a depressive state because they can't see a way to change their mind.
What I would say to you is, it's a part of the process. Anything that you want to achieve, anything that you want to get to, remember, it's not going to be easy. If God told me I'd own 3 businesses, embarking on 2 more right now, if He told me, okay, this is what's going to happen, I got 5 businesses for you right now. He told me that. If I would have known where I am currently right now at this moment,
Mm.
I said, forget it. I would have said, forget it, because I would not have wanted to endure everything in
Woo.
between destiny, purpose, and where I am right now. It's
Mm.
like that dash. I heard a preacher preach before at a
Yes.
funeral. What are you doing? What is your life living? What is the dash?
What is the
And
dash?
the dash is the process.
It
And
is.
that dash doesn't mean, okay, this is, the end of life. But I'm using that dash in reference to you getting to that place where you're out of depression. You're out of, I'm at a point where I've gone through a pandemic.
Yes.
As successful as I am, the pandemic hurt everybody.
Yes, it did.
Everybody, unless you're sitting on billions of dollars, the pandemic has hurt all of us.
And it hurt them too.
People, and it hurt them too.
That did.
But we look at people so much. I right now I'm fasting more. My prayer life is challenged more. My faith is tested on a level it has never been tested before.
Yeah.
So you imagine climbing hurdles and getting doors slammed in your face and getting the nose. Listen, you're not ready for success unless you endured a season of no's.
Amen to that. Come on.
And when I say that, I mean in every aspect.
That's
You
right.
are not ready for success until you've heard no consecutively. Because
Yes.
that is the thing that puts that's what builds you. So the
That's so.
depression,
That's right.
the I don't see how I'm gonna get it out of here. Your faith being tested, everything, you on your way.
That's
You
right.
just gotta endure it. You gotta, and it's as hard as it sounds. You gotta really put on your big boy pants, put on your big boy, your big girl drawers, and just you gotta weather the storm. It's
Be-
gonna rain. That's a
oh,
part of nature. It's gonna rain, but the sun always comes out,
it
no
does.
matter what season it's in. Whether it's cold outside, hot outside, the sun always comes out. The rain does not last forever.
That's
But
correct.
that rain also grows us because it's watering all that mess, all the dirt. And in order for anything to produce, you need the rain.
You need the rain.
Consider those tears rain, you
Yeah.
know? Consider it rain, like it's all growing you. Stay
That's what.
in it. It's hard. Anything worth having is worth battling for. You're not gonna appreciate it unless
That's
you
the
battle
truth.
for it.
Isn't that the truth? The no's actually stoke the fire within you.
You gotta have a
that
nose.
they stoke the fire. And whatever you can wrap your head around the moment when you became depressed, when people a lot of people who say that they're depressed, when you can wrap your head around that moment, it's a moment. And so don't stay there, because
Right.
that was yesterday, that was a moment ago, that was an hour ago, and then move forward to look ahead. Because if you stay there, then now you cannot see
Yeah,
what's
you can't.
for
I,
tomorrow. You
I
can.
here's the thing that I kind of implement every day. You can't really speak for the past. Meaning you can't live in the past
Mm-hmm.
and you can't quite live in the future yet, but you can prepare today. And so sometimes you have to live your life in 24-hour intervals, meaning
Yeah,
it's okay that maybe tomorrow you'll mess up. And it's
mhm.
okay that yesterday was a mess up.
That's
But
right.
today, you have to live a brand new day,
Mhm.
forgetting about yesterday, not worrying about what tomorrow is, but being a better you in 24-hour intervals. I heard a preacher say that before, and I really took that. Like, I gotta just live for the moment. I gotta live for the moment
That's right. Amen
and
for the
get
good
through this
preachers.
moment. Huh?
Amen for the good preachers dropping the nuggets.
Man,
Yes.
listen. You gotta have it. You
I'm
know,
telling you.
watch
I'm
what you
telling
feed
you.
your soul. Watch what you feed your mindset. And it's not really a religious thing, just because that's something I like to do. But even with my kids, we don't listen to everything, but we kind of do a mix of everything, because once again, what plays in your mind, you have to change that. What's around your atmosphere, you have
Yeah,
to speak positivity. I don't let anybody speak negatively with
that's
anything
right.
around me, you
Ditto.
know and I just, it's a mindset. Speak positively, you're gonna get out of it. The sun is gonna come out.
It will indeed. It will indeed. Now, when your son came out, where did you get the strength, or the nose forced you to get to culinary school? How did you choose one? How'd you pay for it? Because I understand it's terribly expensive. Tell us about your journey in culinary school.
So my journey in culinary school, it also was so tough.
Mm.
At the time, I was married at the time, and my husband had gotten deathly ill
Mm.
towards the last stretch of me going to culinary school.
What school did you attend?
Star Career Academy.
And
It's
where
in
is that?
Syosset, Long Island. And I
Oh,
believe they renamed it. So I don't know the name of it now, but they renamed it. And I had a small kid at the time, two. Everybody was small at the time. All three. But I did definitely have a baby at the time. Um I had to balance being a wife, being a
mm.
mother, trying to go to school at night, doing everything. And listen, financial aid worked, but they don't cover everything. I did something that I knew would be manageable enough for me to be able to pay back. I don't
Yes.
owe any student loans.
Hallelujah.
I paid that all in one shot. Like, but that was once I became successful. I
Yes.
went to culinary school 13 years ago.
Hmm.
I Maybe 2 years ago, I paid my entire debt. So don't look at that, but definitely look at the thing of, it's going to be money. Everything's going to cost right now.
That's right.
every Everything is going to cost, but you got to think about the end result. So what results do you want? Do you not go because you can't afford it? Listen, you can't afford any of your dreams, and if you can't afford your dreams, you're not dreaming big enough.
Come on.
So don't let that deter you. Don't let that deter you. It was a battle, but I endured that battle.
Mm. What was the most challenging aspect of culinary school?
My most challenging aspect of culinary school, I would say, was probably the written test.
Okay.
The written part of it. I loved, of course, everybody goes. It's like the restaurant industry now. Everybody wants to own a restaurant. Cooking is the easy
Mm.
part, but actually running a business,
Yes.
that's where it comes, that's where the hard part is. For me, it was the measurements. That's why I don't consider myself a baker, because you have to be right on with those measurements. The
Yes.
math has to be exact. You got to break down stuff. That was my challenge. And then finding the externship, that also is a challenge, because I am a young Black woman, and most of the kitchens were not looking like me. So you try finding an externship that's going to accept you and
Yeah.
not be intimidated by how you look,
Uh-oh.
because I've encountered that also.
Where did you find one? Where did you land?
I wind up doing my externship at, oh wow, the Garden City Hotel. Yes. I
Okay.
wind up doing my I wind up doing my externship there, and I remember even there, which was a more diverse kitchen, but they really weren't trying to offer it to me. And I remember the position I got was, oh, you could just cook the staff meals. You'll cook the employee meals, because the employees on their breaks, they dined in a separate part
Ah.
of the hotel, which was down in the basement. And they had a cafeteria, but we provided their meals. By that third meal, I was working on the line,
What now I know what
because
that
I
means.
put my all in it.
Now I know what that means, working on the line. Tell everyone else, what does that mean, working on?
So I was cooking for literally all of the maids, the housekeepers, the janitors. I had got the bare minimum. By the third day, somebody was out, and they were loving the food for them 3 days. And I remember the head chef coming up to me going, "Hey, we're short cooking for the guests that's actually in the hotel, that's staying in the rooms."
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't remember the show. It was a popular show at the time that was on Fox or NBC. And the hosts were there in a hotel, and I was like literally cooking for them. I had gotten a permanent position, being on the line, meaning being a line cook, being the one actually cooking for the hotel guests, no
Wow.
longer for the employees, but I was doing the guest cooking.
Nice.
Yes.
Fantastic. And
Yeah.
then fast forward, then this Hell's Kitchen opportunity comes about.
So Hell's Kitchen, I had applied for Hell's Kitchen while I was in culinary school.
Oh.
I didn't get into Hell's Kitchen until years later, because I remained on the email list. Let that be a lesson to everybody watching this. You could be purposed or destined to do something. Because it does not happen right away,
Mm,
does not mean it is not for you.
come on.
I applied years ago when I was in culinary school. I stayed on the email list. One day I heard apply. The day I applied was the deadline.
Oh,
I got a call back the next day.
wow.
And it was years in between from when I first applied.
Wow. Amazing. And so you got
Yeah.
the call, and the call came and said, we
They
want
were
to.
like, "Oh my God, we love your pictures." They were like, "We love everything about your personality." They were like, "We want to learn more." It was like, "Could you come in on Sunday?" And I'm like, "Today's Saturday." "Yeah, of course." Here I am on the phone. Listen, I need a makeup artist. I need to get my hair done. I was like, I don't care how much it costs, but I got the opportunity of a lifetime, and I need you, and we're gonna do this. And literally, I did it. And with flying back and forth to LA and this, that, and the third,
Wow.
it came through. It came through.
Yes. Give us those pictures, Chris. Speak to your journey on Hell's Kitchen.
Oh man, I tell everybody, Hell's Kitchen was the hardest thing I had ever done until the pandemic and opening and having a restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the hardest thing. I mean,
How so? How
literally,
so? How so?
because Hell's Kitchen, it was blood, sweat, and tears, whether
Yeah.
they showed you or not. I've gotten cut with knives. I've gotten burned. You cry many a tears,
Mm.
and I mean, whether it's in the shower, not on camera, because I'm not about to do that on camera. But it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And you
Ah,
sweat because you're fighting. You're fighting. At the end of the night, those clothes are no good. You're
woo.
literally battling. You understand
Wow.
what I'm saying? Like, they
Yes.
literally took our clothes at the end of every every night, and gave us fresh ones, because after taping all day, you think you're normal, but you're sticky, you're wet.
Oh,
It's like
absolutely.
impossible not to,
Can't
have to
reboot.
shower in order to come down. So it was so challenging. And I never really watched the show before. So I kind of got myself
Oh.
into something. Yeah. I
No,
had to like watch clips once I got the, okay, like, hey, about that second flight out to LA, I said I better start watching this show.
tell us about your interaction with Chef Ramsay. What did you learn most from him?
Oh man. So everybody sees one thing about TV shows, there's a lot of edits.
Yes.
So people, this is Hell's Kitchen, so it's supposed to be raw, it's supposed to be vulgar, it's supposed to be hell. Like, hell's not a good place. So it's exactly what it's portrayed to be. But
Mhm.
one thing I grown to have to tell a lot of people, I had a lot of people that go, I never watched the show, I only watched it because you was on there, or how in the world did you deal with him? If I had a dollar for every customer that asked me how was Gordon Ramsay, this is my thing. When it came time for the show and it came taping, he was 100% what you see on TV. But outside of those cameras, he was the most gentle giant. He
Wow.
helped. I learned so much. I remember a time being on the show, and with the edits, the show didn't. One thing I didn't like is it didn't show too many of my strengths, and that's okay. That's what you sign up for. But I remember him coming to me going, "Hey, I got an idea," because he saw me prepping, and he's like, "Listen, do this way. Get it a little ahead of time." He was like, "This way, when I call a ticket or I do this," he's like, "You're already ready." And just afterwards, and even some of the, like, you won't see this on TV or
Yes.
on playbacks, but like there were a lot of times where I was like a runner up for a dish to win. Oh, I hated it so much when I'm like, but they didn't show that part. And I'd be walking out the kitchen and he'd be like, Shaina, and I turn around and go, that was really good. Like that was really good.
Good.
And it's those times where I sit back, even when I get in my stumps, and I'm just like, yo, you could cook. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Like, you got this,
You got
but
this.
he's amazing. He's amazing. And I just thank God for the opportunity, because I beat out millions of people to be able to get that opportunity to learn from him.
And
So
then you
I'm
were
grateful for it.
one of the top 10 of the season.
Definitely. And I know I could have went further.
What do you mean?
I know I could have went further. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yes.
And a part of me just was like, there was a part of me that gave up, and there was a part of me that wanted to keep going. But you
Mm.
get tired.
Oh,
You
I'm
get
sure.
tired. You get tired. And I just was like, I can't. And I didn't totally tap out, but mentally I did tap out.
Mm.
And that's what kind of messed me up.
I
But top 10 is still good.
I think the word is getting weary in well doing.
Oh yeah. And I didn't wait for that
That's
due
the
season.
word.
I didn't wait for the due season.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
And it's so, but there's an inner strength that comes forward so that we won't get weary in our well doing. And
exactly.
that
Exactly.
is the inner strength that we have to tap into. But I understand the being in a moment that you are so weary that you go, that's it, no more.
Yeah,
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 yeah, that's it. That's all.
yeah.
That's all I got.
I
That's all.
mean that's how I feel with my restaurant in the pandemic. I would, and I want to say this to people because I know a lot of people will be watching, and people look at successful people and they don't get the truth. You see the pictures that we want you to see, we see the results that we want you to see, but we don't show you the pain.
Come on.
And by right, that's just not the popular thing to do, you know. But like right now, if I was a person that got loans to open up my business and had everything handed to me, I would have gave up a long time ago.
Yes, there is
The
an
pandemic
Indian
hit, I
prophet.
would have gave up a long time ago.
I'm telling you, there is an Indian, and we're going to go to a break after this, but there is an Indian proverb that says, if you ain't walked in these moccasins, don't tell me how they feel. So you don't know my pain, and I don't know yours. Don't
Right.
try to name mine, and I won't name yours. But
Exactly.
we want you to stay with us. Don't go away. More with Chef Shaina when we come back, and
You
we're
got
going to
it.
talk about the project that we've teamed up together. That's coming right up. We'll be back after this.
Yeah.
You're tuned in to Ask the Good Doctor, live each and every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, and 10 a.m. Pacific. Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire is here to answer your questions live.
And today we are doing Kitchen Warriors. At Kitchen Warriors, I actually prepare a meal, teach everyone how to make it, and then we sit down and eat it together. And there we are. That's me and Chef Shaina. We're
Yes.
about Yes, we're about to get at Kitchen Warriors coming right up in a couple of weeks, and we're so excited. I know I'm really excited.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm excited.
oh, yes, it's going to be held at her Mad Apples restaurant, but don't run out and try to attend. We're sold out. Haha. Yes, which is great because we wanted to keep it small intentionally.
Mhm.
However, you will have an opportunity if you are on Patreon with me. Ask the good Dr. LaJoyce. You'll be able to see every dish. And if you're not, you'll be able to pay per meal. So if you want to learn how to make the gumbo, if you want to learn how to make skillet cornbread, if you want to learn how to make my slamming organic turkey chili, or if you want to learn how to do knife skills with Chef Shaina, you'll be able to purchase a link. Chef Shaina, tell us
Yep.
what you're going to be doing at Kitchen Warriors.
So I'm excited for Kitchen Warriors. I have a big pet peeve. I watch people cooking in the kitchen all the time. And one of the things I hate the most is seeing people cut vegetables the wrong way or just using the knife the wrong way.
Uh,
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So I'm excited to do knife skills. I hate the way people cut onions. So I'm
uh,
excited to do that. I'm also excited to make, two of the mother sauces, from scratch. Like especially which is a staple in a lot of our everyday meals. So I'm excited to make red sauce with everybody known as spaghetti sauce, marinara, however you want to put it. So I'm excited to do that from scratch. I'm excited to do the bechamel. Like I'm just totally looking forward
Well,
to it. And I'm
you
teaching
just
people.
sliding over bechamel like people know what that is. Tell them about a bechamel sauce, honey.
So basically, the staple on Thanksgiving, everybody want to know who making the mac and cheese. So we gonna give you, the heart of the mac and cheese. The right way to do it, the heart of the mac and cheese. How we gonna make that cheese sauce?
Yes. And so many people don't make a cheese sauce. I make a cheese sauce.
I make a cheese sauce. You
That's right.
know, actually, when I first started out cooking, I remember I just could not get my mac and cheese to hit it just because my great grandmother used to make it for me and bring it to church on Sundays, my own personal pan. I
Oh.
remember in elementary school, I would be bringing it to school for lunch, you know, and that was a mac and cheese that stayed with me.
Yes.
and I could never get it. And then when I finally got it, I had to implement making a cheese sauce in order to get it to taste the way that I wanted it to
That's
taste.
right. That's right.
Yep.
My mother was a textbook cook because we come from a family of chefs.
Right.
So she never had to learn how to cook until she got on her own, got married, and had children. So
Right.
she learned how to make everything by reading the side of the box of the rice, reading the side of the box of the macaroni to make the macaroni and cheese. She from the side of the cremettes box. That's how
Wow.
she learned how to make it. And that creamy sauce, it sticks with me and it reminds me of home. So we are
Wow.
excited to be able to make the bechamel sauce and the marinara
Yes.
sauce with you under your tutelage. We're excited for that. And
Yes.
with the sauces, with the red sauce, we're going to make Italian chicken breast with the marinara and mozzarella over zoodles or spinach pasta. Yes, ma'am. And
Tastes good
then
already.
that's right. With the bechamel sauce, of course, we're gonna make it up a la macaroni and cheese. But of course, and we have 2 days of delight in your wonderful Mad Apples restaurant. I just want
Yes.
to shout out Nisi Rubin, our payroll lady, who introduced us.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Relationships is everything.
Relationships are everything, and she knows everybody, and she put us together. And I am
Yep.
just so glad that she did. Tell us about
Grateful for the
Mad
connection.
Apples restaurant in the Poconos.
Mad Apple's restaurant, if you go back to the beginning of our story, and I told you how I encountered that no, that's twice. It came about after that second no when I relocated to Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
and I went in, and let's talk about how I spent hundreds of dollars to get into this job, and it happened almost the same exact way.
Mm.
Only my no came on Friday and I was supposed to start on Monday.
Wow.
So I had already done the show, did I was at home, and that's why I tell people it's important to take mental breaks and social media breaks.
Yep.
I would sit and watch, and I don't mind being transparent about this because there's so many people suffering silently that
Yes.
somebody needs to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And I sat back and watched. I said, I got calls to do a lot of things, but I would watch my peers like that I've done the Hell's Kitchen with, different seasons, the mix of seasons, and even some that I went on, I felt like the outcast.
Mm.
I'm like, oh,
Mm.
well, this one is not calling me. They don't call me. And it comes from people where you've called them and reached out to them like, hey, you want to come do this thing with me? And I realized that I was never getting called. Like,
Wow.
I'm like, what is that about? And so it kind of had me to where I was going, I started to compare. And a lot of the comparisons came from a lot of truth also, because I was sitting there going, she definitely can't cook better than me. He don't
Yeah.
have no flavor in his food. So I'm trying to figure out what am I doing wrong. But then that's when I had to realize, you know, Shayna, you don't fit into those crowds.
Yes.
I'm a leader. You have to
Yep.
recognize who you are. I
Yep.
am a alpha. I am a leader. I am somebody who sets the tone.
Hmm.
I'm the lender. I'm not the borrower.
Come on.
That's just the way I have to put it. So I sat back and I remember as clear as day. I said, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I said, I'm going to continue working and trying to go into these other people establishments, especially people who own restaurants but having no food experience at all. They just have the money, So I said, what am I going to do? And I just grown so frustrated. I'm when I tell you giving up,
Mm.
man, I was past that stage. I
Wow.
remember sitting in my bed and I said, man, I got to make something work. And nights and nights and nights. And one night, it had to be about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I had got this concept of loaded French fries. I wanted to put everything everything that you would eat on loaded fries. So I remember just starting it out, and I would go down in my kitchen and I make these ribs and I make yams and this that, and the third. And I made sweet potato fries, and I would put the sweet potato fries there and put the ribs on top and top it with like a
Woo!
little mac and cheese. And I was like, people would love this. This is actually something that they could just fork. And I became like, I had Philly cheesesteak fries, Cuban fries, buffalo chicken fries. Like all of my fries became huge sellers at Mad Apple's restaurant. And that concept, Mad Apples, came from, which Mad Apple is another name for potato.
Ah.
So I originally was going into the restaurant going, this is going to be a loaded French fry joint. People got wind of who I was, and because of the reputation of where I was at, what it was previously, people started asking for different things. Um, that I did not like in the beginning, but guess what? Sometimes you have to move out of your comfort zone. You could
Yes.
go into something thinking, this is what I'm going to do. I wound up switching things out, kept the loaded French fries, but I wound up switching things out and adding other things on the menu. And sometimes you have to come out of that comfort zone, because
Yes.
when I added other stuff on the menu, literally one of my last options that I added on the menu opened up my new business that I have now,
What?
because it took off in Mad Apples.
Wow. What is that?
Yes. The
Don't tell us.
catfish. The catfish, I was in a restaurant store, and I went in the seafood section, and they had all of this fresh seafood laying out. And I told the guy, you know what? Give me a pound of that. Let me just see. It was the last thing on my cart. I was just like, I added burgers, I had the ground beef, and everything was from scratch. I added the brisket, the pork, everything. And I remember doing that catfish, and literally, I treated it like it was literally the bottom of the barrel. It was the last thing on the menu, and it became the biggest seller in Mad Apples, which is how I now have the Jonah Ride, which is an all seafood truck.
Wow. All seafood food truck.
Food truck. Yep.
The Jonah Ride.
Yep.
Wow. And do you take that to festivals?
Yes. I did a festival about 2 weeks ago. It was amazing. I did and just got a call today for another one. So, um, listen, get out your comfort zone. Don't think, listen, if they're not calling you, figure out a way. You got to create your own path. You got to create your own path.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because one of the things that I like about you and your own path, and the thing that separates you with Mad Apples away from other of the seasonal Pocono locations, is that you have one insistence that you start fresh with fresh food, make everything from scratch. Tell us about that.
I don't like going out to eat. I am not the person that eats out like that. And if I do, it's really at a high-end restaurant. And sometimes that doesn't even make a difference. But if I do eat out, it's gonna be at a high-end restaurant. I do that because the quality is gonna be good. I know
Mhm.
it's gonna be cooked the way I want it to be cooked.
Mhm.
And when you go to a lot of places, the food almost tastes as if it was frozen and then dropped in the fryer,
Yes.
or it was bagged and rewarmed. I don't want to give you that experience at my restaurant. I When I prayed for my restaurant, when my vision went on the table, when I asked God to make me successful, when I asked him to let me embark on my first million, I didn't ask for a handout. One of the things that I said to him was, I'll work for it.
Mm.
I
Amen.
I will work for it, and that's what I keep doing. As much labor as it is, I still make those yams from scratch. I make that macaroni and cheese from scratch. The ribs are from scratch. The chicken wings, and I tell people all the time, especially in the summertime when it's packed, I'm going. If you're in a rush, this is not where you want to go. There's a Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, Dairy Queen, all of that. If you make a left or a right, you're gonna find all of those options.
That's right.
But here, you're not gonna find that. So you're gonna have to wait, because this 10-ounce burger gonna have to get cooked
Right.
from fresh. And I just believe, like, when you eat, you want to be reminded of something.
Come on.
That's how, when I eat, I want to remember it. I want that lasting impression, like, I gotta come back here.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
And I like how you don't use microwaves, not in your food or in life.
Oh, no microwave, and that is all I gotta say. Death to the microwave. Death to the microwave. You
Sounds
are
like a
not
book
going
to
to
me.
get good quality. You are not going to get good quality. If you listen, you want to eat, the microwave is good for popcorn, but I even like to use a stove for my microwave. I like to put it in the frying pan, season it up a little bit. I like to watch it pop. I just like my stuff fresh. And listen, take that motto in life. No microwave. Nothing's going to come quick. And if it does come quick, not saying it's going to not get the job done, but it's not going to be as effective. It's not going to be as nourishing. It's not going to have the same anything. You cannot have it quick, fast, and easy. Death
Yeah.
to the microwave. Some things you got to put in the oven and let cook. And remember, that's probably with life, period. If you're going through the struggle, just you're in your oven experience. You're cooking right now. Call this depression, call this however you want to, this down space. Just say, I'm being cooked right now. I'm in
Yeah.
the oven and I'm under the fire, and it's going to burn, it's going to hurt. But at the end, when I'm ready to come out, I'm ready to be eaten.
Amen. Amen. Chef Shaina, you are a joy and a gem. What is your social media?
Listen, you can find me as Chef Shayna Patrice on everything. I keep
Okay.
the same thing. Chef Shayna, Shaina Patrice, Patrice. I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. All of my businesses, Mad Apples Loaded on Instagram, the Jonah Ride on Instagram. So you can find me anywhere. Listen, if you want to book me, if you need a private chef, I am here for everything. Nothing is beneath me.
Okay. And she is the truth. Her food is amazing. Those turkey wings, ooh la la. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Chef Shaina, thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being a part of the Good Doctor family
Thank you
and
for having me.
for imparting wisdom. We are so looking forward to Kitchen Warriors at Mad Apples and with you. So we'll see you
Yes.
again soon, okay?
Yes,
Bye
yes. Thank
bye.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. And we want to thank all of you for joining us today. I want to thank my team, my W supervising producer, Chris Green, technical producer, and DJ Indy, and Chris Brown, announcers. I want to thank you all for being here so much. I hope that you've learned something. We wanted to give you a little food for your soul today. So remember to let your eyes shine, cut back on the wine, get good food fast, and go easy on the greasy. Until next time, I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, here to help you attain and maintain your perfect health. Let's do it again next week, okay? God bless you.